Hello everybody, I'm here in Wakefield. As you could see in that, to be fair, there's a poster just behind me for the independent candidate, and right there, vote Labour. But that's a beacon of hope. We've got the Union flag flying out of a window, so it's a very working class, and it is a diverse area here. Literally, two minutes ago, they've just left. But as I was about to start filming, a car pulls up right there, and it was a car full of Muslim chaps asking what I was doing. So I told them, I said I'm doing a video for the elections. All right, they said to me, who's the candidate for? Basically, you're doing a video for the elections, which candidate are you supporting? So I said, Jayda Fransen, we are here. Now, straight away they went into me saying, what's she offering, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, we're here. The message is to spoil your ballot paper, because unfortunately, this system, this voting system that we have, it only benefits the two main parties. Labour and the Conservatives are going to, any one of them is going to win this election. Anyone who thinks differently is not awake. And they're both two sides of the same anti-British Marxist coin. Hell, I suppose you could say one thing, the Tories are hypocrites, Labour are just far left Marxists, anti-British, but they're both the same. It's just Tories promise one thing and deliver the same as what Labour are promising. So the best thing to do is spoil the ballot paper. It caused havoc in Southend. When Jayda stood, we did the same message on the leaflet, spoil your ballot paper. And it was unprecedented, the amount of people. It was over 1,000 people spoilt the ballot paper. And the turnout for that election was, I think it was a third of the size of the turnout in 2019. And in 2019, they only had 300 spoilt ballot papers. So the turnout was 3 times lower than in 2019, and it had 3 times higher the amount of spoilt ballot papers. Keep looking over my shoulder just in case they come back with... to be fair, they were nice enough. They told me their issues with Jayda Fransen. Then they started saying, don't come here spreading hate. This is a very diverse community, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I give them a leaflet and I said, you tell me what's hateful on that. The only hate is towards these two people. We only have to look at the amount of uncontrolled immigration that has come into this country since Boris Johnson was elected in 2019. He promised Brexit. He didn't deliver Brexit. It's a hodgepodge of a Brexit. Northern Ireland is still in the European Union. It's been annexed from the rest of the United Kingdom, and as a result of that, Sinn Féin won the Northern Ireland elections. So it's not doing very well for the Union with that. It's totally stuck 2 fingers up to Northern Ireland. And then, of course, the majority of people who voted for Brexit was to stop the mass, uncontrolled immigration into this country. And it's accelerated. It's got worse. Not just illegal immigration, but legal immigration. And the Rwanda plan, well, them left-wing solicitors and these far-left Marxist groups who are all funding it to stop. The Rwanda plan's a joke. It's not going to work. And it's actually a trade-off when you read it. for every refugee we send to them, they will send their most vulnerable refugees Rwanda has, is what we are trading. So for the ones who go to Rwanda, we get the most vulnerable. Vulnerable means, you know, critically ill, limbs missing, you know, it's basically a lot of stress on the NHS is what Rwanda will be swapping, and it's 1 for 1. It's a joke. So, but yeah, them left-wing solicitors, them groups that campaigned and stopped the flights going to Rwanda, they're state funded. Google it, check it out yourself. They are funded by this government. I'm going to get off and get delivering these through the letterboxes in this very, very multicultural area. Hello, it didn't quite dawn on me what happened there when I first started. Well, when I'd set up the tripod and my iPad and I was about to start filming, and the car came down a narrow alleyway with no through road. There was bollards at the end of the road, and it parked right behind me. Didn't quite dawn on me at the time what was happening there. You know, they asked me what I was doing, so I said, well, I'm just about to make a video, lads. What's it about? I said, oh, it's about the election. They asked me, which candidate is it for? So I said, Jayda Fransen. Now this car had 4 Muslim men inside. Of course, you know, straight away they went, you know, I was being very cordial. Obviously I wasn't intimidated. I think they was trying to intimidate me, but the fact there was 4 of them in a car, and at no point did any of them get out of the car, which I thought odd after on reflecting on it. But the fact none of them got out of the car clearly shows I wasn't intimidated, and I was being honest when asked what video I was making. Which candidate are you supporting? Jayda Fransen. Now, I'll put a picture up now showing you that I've marked on the photograph by a yellow arrow showing where the car parked. As you can see clearly, it's a narrow street, there's no through road, it's got bollards at the end, and there's no reason to go down that street. I presumed they was going to go into that corner shop, that newsagent's, well, that off-licence that we saw behind me, but none of them got out to use the shop. They just came down, interrogating me, and then they left. Now, during the conversation that they had with me, of course, they was trying to goad me into saying something I shouldn't, I think, because one of them, for instance, said to me, you do know that Britain's going to become a Muslim nation, don't you? And I said, well, what do you mean a Muslim nation? No, it's a Christian nation. It's always going to be, you know, it's always going to be a Christian nation. He said, no. He said, no, it'll be. I said, do you mean a majority Muslim country? But well, of course, I can't argue with that, because of course we know the amount. You know, it's predicted that that is going to happen one day if things carry on the way they are happening. And of course, the numbers of people who follow Christianity is falling. More people are getting, you know, the mainstream media and everything preaches. It's all designed to turn people away from faith and God, and that's to make people easier to control. So yes, he clearly said that to me to try and get a reaction. He didn't get the reaction. But then, yeah, it was just, you know, they were trying to get a reaction, trying to get me angry. One of them at the driver's seat, now he was saying to me that Wakefield's a very diverse area, blah, blah, blah. We don't want you preaching hate here. So I opened the leaflet and said, well, you can have one of these leaflets that I'm delivering. I'm going to start delivering them through the letterboxes. And he went, what? That's how I know he lived there, because I mean, I'll go back a bit actually and say that one of the first things I'd said to them is, look, I'm trying to make a video and I weren't expecting a car to come and park right there. I mean, this is clearly a no-through road, there's bollards. And the driver said, yes, we didn't realise that until we've come down this road. But then, when I said I was going to start delivering leaflets, he said, oh, you're going to start posting, what? You're going to start posting that racist leaflet through my letterbox. Now, of course, there's nothing racist on the leaflet. So I said, well, you live round here? He said, yeah, I'm round the corner. I said, right, well, you'll be getting one through your letterbox. But he also said in the conversation, which actually went on for about an hour, I didn't realise it went on for that long, but it was about an hour. He actually said to me that he's stood in elections. And I said, all right, well, you might have a good inkling that they're a bit rigged. And, you know, because I've stood as a candidate. And, no, they're not. He said, no, they're not, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. He kept saying, though, he was and has been a candidate in local elections. Now, the last attempt that they did to try and intimidate me, as they was reversing away slowly, then they stopped. They'd reversed a little bit away, so I wasn't in touching distance. Then they said to me, oh, you'll be happy with this Rwanda deal, won't you? You'll be happy about sending refugees to Rwanda. And I said, no, because it's a con. I think there's only space for 500 people in Rwanda. It's costing a hell of a lot of money to send them over there. So no, I'm not in favour of that Rwanda hodgepodge, which they knew. They do, you know, like I said, I've already covered that, but yeah, the government do fund the left-wing solicitors who stop these flights. It's all state-sponsored. It's all a little game that they're playing with your taxpayers' money. I said, no, I'm not in favour of that. He wasn't expecting that answer. So then he said, oh, right, what would you do then? And I said, right, well, I would leave the 1951 UN Refugee Convention. If you leave that, you can police your borders and you can stop any refugees from coming into this country. Because this country shouldn't have any refugees because it's surrounded by safe countries, and under international law, these refugees should claim asylum in the first safe country they arrive in. And then he said, oh, well, it kicked off. He said to me, refugees have a right to live here because of all the fuckery that your country's done, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I do agree with you that our country shouldn't be going around bombing any country, and actually us nationalists wouldn't be going around bombing any country unless they directly attacked this country. We certainly wouldn't be flying over to third world countries in the Middle East or whatnot and dropping bombs on countries that are no harm whatsoever to Great Britain, the United Kingdom. So he wasn't getting the answers, but that really triggered him when I said leaving the UN 1951 Refugee Convention. Then all of a sudden, I did say they could have these leaflets. They were saying these leaflets are hate-filled and racist, and I said, look, have them. No. I said, well, you can't comment on them unless you take one. One of them did take one. And actually, towards the end, he said, he threw the leaflet, the driver who said he'd stood in elections, he'd been passed the leaflet, so he said, the person I'd given the leaflet to, the guy passed it to him, and he angrily, with his window down, he said, you can have your leaflet back, and he threw it on the floor. It didn't actually go near me, he just threw it outside his window. I said, ask your friend, was there anything hateful in that leaflet? And I bent down to the window and his friend said, no. He said, I says, was you offended by that leaflet? Anything on that leaflet? He said, no, not really, but no, you know, then the truth came out then. Then his friend said, here, have a proper party's leaflet. Keir Starmer's been in Wakefield today, and that's where we've been. And he threw his Labour leaflet out the window. Landed in around about the same place as the Jayda Fransen leaflet. So I walked, because it wasn't directly at me, I had to walk and pick up both leaflets. When I walked back, this driver, who's claimed, I just thought he was talking rubbish, but he claimed that he stood in local elections in the past. He looked, my face must have changed or something, and he said, "Oh, are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm really good. I just can't stand people who litter. I can't stand people who throw litter on the floor, making this country a mess. I love this country, so I said I can't stand people who litter this country." Then they started reversing backwards, and as they were reversing, gotten well away from me. The drivers shouting out the window, "Refugees are welcome here, say it loud, say it clear." Anyway, after getting back to the hotel I'm staying at, I had a look at this Labour leaflet that his friend had thrown out of the window after he threw out the Jayda Fransen leaflet. They'd said they'd been with Keir Starmer, who's visited Wakefield today. And when I looked at the leaflet, I'll put the leaflet up on the screen so you can see it because I've circled him. I recognised one of the faces on the leaflet. One of the face that I've circled on that leaflet that you can see now is the person who was driving the vehicle. The same person who was trying to goad a reaction out of me. The same person who's driven down a street on the estate that he lives, knowing full well there's no through road, and what has attracted him to drive down there is just because, I mean, I'm not lying, a white person in that area I've been in today is going to stand out like a sore thumb. So he's driven down to see what this white person was doing with an iPad on a tripod. Or, as you can see on the leaflet, he said that he's previously stood in elections, and I believe that now, because he's on that leaflet. It's highly likely, in fact, it's pretty much nailed on, that he was a Labour candidate in the local elections. Who knows, he might even be a Wakefield councillor. And he's driven down to try and intimidate with 3 others in his car. He's driven down a road with a no-through road to try and intimidate a white person, a white English person who's in this area. He's and more damningly for him, especially if he's been elected as a councillor, he threw litter out of his window that landed on the floor. He didn't bat an eyelid about that. He asked me, "Are you okay?" Because obviously my face obviously changed when I went to pick the litter up, because I did leave it a couple of minutes to wait to see if they would pick their litter up. They didn't do. And he didn't see anything wrong with that. This guy probably throws litter out of his window every single day. And this is clearly a Labour candidate in local elections. Who knows, he might stand every year. Who knows, he might even be a Labour councillor in Wakefield. I'm sure that wouldn't be hard to find out. So this area did have vote Labour ballot. That's why I was driving past the area, I saw it, I thought, right, this area needs to get leafleted. It had vote, like I showed in the video, it had vote Labour everywhere. So I don't know if it's I don't know if their motive was racial to intimidate me, because that area doesn't seem to have any white people living in that area, and I was in that area, or if it was political to intimidate me. Pretty sure if I wasn't, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have even batted an eyelid to come and see me if I was like the majority in that area, from South Asian, Pakistani origin, or Bangladeshi origin. You know, if I had brown skin, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have even approached me. But yeah, it's quite interesting, and they're always looking out. It's quite interesting that they're always on the look, especially near these elections. I mean, we did see about Paul Golding getting arrested. They wouldn't even. He was on. I don't know if he's had his bail conditions quashed, but he did have bail conditions to say that he's not allowed in the city of Wakefield, and this was down to false allegations of racism. So it's seems to be quite organised what is going on in Wakefield, because, like I said, I was literally only there for 2 minutes. I'd walked down the street, done a 30-second video, and then I set my tripod up and I was about to start filming, and that car decided to come down the dead end. At first he claimed he didn't know it was a dead end, but then later on he said he lived around the corner. So if he lives around the corner, he knows it's a dead end. None of them got out of the car to go to the shop. They just came down to see what I was up to. I can't not say that that felt like a ghetto, and a ghetto, that area I was in today, I can't not say that that didn't feel like a ghetto, and a ghetto where white people was not welcome.